Good evening and welcome to RCM News. My name is Vicky Lee White and I'll be bringing you your top stories tonight. Let's have a look at the South African news. In the first story, road closed for 15 hours after Chabane's crash. Traffic began flowing normally in the late afternoon yesterday along the N1 between Mokopane and Polokwane at the scene where Public Service Minister Collins Shabane was killed. Shabane and his bodyguards Sergeant Lisiba Sekele and Sergeant Lawrence Litswane were killed instantly when a truck allegedly made a U-turn in front of their car on the N1 near Polokwane in the early hours of yesterday morning. Shabane was reportedly on his way to Gauteng when the accident occurred. Authorities closed the road and diverted motorists along the R101 for nearly 15 hours when police, a scene investigator and traffic officials inspected the area. Several politicians also visited the accident scene. Workers at filling stations along the busy N1 route said there was no business since they reported for duty in the morning. Business started to pick up at 3 o'clock after a tow truck came to collect the remains of Chabane's car. Meanwhile, the ANC in Limpopo has suspended its program to mourn the deaths of Shabane and his bodyguards. Police have arrested the truck driver. He faces charges of culpable homicide. Blood was drawn from him to test for alcohol. He would appear in the Polokwane Magistrates Court tomorrow. President Jacob Zuma extended his condolences to the staff of the department who lost their second minister in a short space of time. Chabane's predecessor, Roy Padiyachi, died of natural cause in 2012. Dozens of government leaders visited Chabane's family at Chikuru near Kruger National Park to convey their condolences. In the next story, Mthethwa appointed acting public service minister. Minister of Arts and Culture Nathi Mthethwa has been appointed as the acting minister of public service and administration, the presidency said today. This followed the death of public service and administration minister Collins Shabane yesterday. In the next story, Malema repossession case back in court. Economic Freedom Fighters leader Julius Malema's repossession case was expected to be heard in the North Gauteng court today. The provisional repossession order against Malema regarding his outstanding tax bill was extended in December. I quote, "The court order was granted today by mutual agreement between SARS and the taxpayer to allow for the settlement agreement to be finalized." SA Revenue Service spokesperson at the time, Adrian Lucky, said last year. In February last year, Judge Bill Prinsloo ordered that Malema's estate be provisionally repossessed. In May and again in August, his provisional repossession was extended and the matter was postponed. In the final South African story, Python healer arrested for 2.5 million rand con. A traditional healer and his two female assistants have been arrested for tricking a man into paying them 2.5 million to heal his sick child, Ekurhuleni Metro Police said yesterday. 3 Ugandan nationals were arrested in Honeydew, Roodepoort on Friday. The man, aged 44, and the woman were aged 25 and 30, Chief Superintendent Wilfred Kasago said. The arrest took place after a man approached the EMPD after suspecting he was being swindled of money when his son's condition began deteriorating. I quote, "A father desperate for his child to be healed of a life-threatening ailment was referred to a traditional healer who allegedly uses a python to heal patients," Kasago said. I quote, "The parent claims that he was charged 4.5 million rand for the treatment of his sick child. The man told police on Friday that he had already paid 2.5 million rand in 2 installments. The traditional healer had been waiting for the 2 million rand balance the man still owed. During the arrest, a 10-meter-long snake was confiscated and handed to the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. The 3 were to appear in court earlier today on charges of theft under false pretenses and contravention of the Animals Act, Kasago said. That's it for the South African news. Stay with us and we'll be right back. back to RTM News. Let's have a look at the rest of the African stories. In the first story, Sierra Leone VP Samuel Sam Sumana goes into hiding. Sierra Leone's Vice President Samuel Sam Sumana has gone into hiding while he seeks political asylum at the US Embassy in the capital, Freetown. Mr. Sam Sumana told the BBC he and his wife fled their home after a tip-off that soldiers were surrounding it. The move comes a week after his expulsion from the ruling party. 2 weeks ago, Mr. Sam Sumana said he was putting himself in quarantine for 21 days after one of his bodyguards died of the Ebola virus. Police and army sources confirmed to the BBC's Umara Fufana in Freetown that troops were sent to the vice president's residence on Saturday morning. They said the troops were dispatched to withdraw Mr. Sam Sumana's security detail, but would not say whose orders they were acting on. However, Information Minister Alpha Kanu told the BBC that the soldiers were merely going to Mr. Sam Sumana's house to strengthen the quarantine. In the next story, Zimbabwe prison riot to be probed. Inmates who took part in a riot in a Harare jail might face extended sentences, the official Sunday Mail reported. Prison spokesperson Elizabeth Karinda Banda told the newspaper, I quote, after the investigation, a board will be set up to try offenders. Those found guilty will be penalized accordingly. I quote, there is the possibility of having their sentences extended, she added. 3 prisoners are now known to have died of injuries sustained during the riot at Chukurubi Maximum Security Prison on Friday. 5 more are still in hospital in Harare, while 19 are being treated in the prison clinic. There are conflicting reports as to whether police and army used live bullets to quell the uprising, which is now being presented as an attempted jailbreak. The Sunday Mail reported that armed officers shot at prisoners who had climbed into prison towers. Tear gas was also fired. Around 900 inmates took part in the 3-hour riot at the correctional facility. In the next story, Egypt sacks 41 judges for supporting Brotherhood. An Egyptian disciplinary court ordered 41 judges into compulsory retirement on Saturday for supporting the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood. Judicial sources said the latest move in a sweeping crackdown on political dissent. The government has implemented a harsh crackdown on Islamists as well as secular political opponents since then Army Chief Abdel Fattah Sisi ousted Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in July 2013 following mass protest against his rule. The disciplinary council headed by Judge Nabil Zaki did not immediately release the reason for its decision, but the judicial sources said 31 of the judges were sent into compulsory retirement for signing a statement that condemned the removal of Morsi. Another 10 were removed from their posts for joining Judges for Egypt group, which used to be supportive of the Brotherhood even before Morsi's removal. The sources added, Egyptian law prohibits judges from engaging in politics, but critics and human rights groups say the Judicial Disciplinary Court has turned a blind eye to judges who openly support the government of Sisi, who was elected president last year. The government says the judiciary is independent and never intervenes in its work. In the next story, Zambian President Edgar Lungu leaves South African hospital. Zambian President Edgar Lungu has been discharged from hospital in South Africa after undergoing surgery to correct a narrowing of the esophagus. Doctors described the results as good following Friday's procedure. On Sunday, he collapsed at an International Women's Day event in the Zambian capital, Lusaka. In January, Mr. Lungu, 58, won a narrow election victory, replacing the former president Michael Sata, who died in October. Doctors have asked the president to return to the hospital in a few weeks for a medical review. Stay with us here on RTM. We'll be right back.
South Africa Feast of Esther hosts a 4th annual Feast of Esther conference for female general overseers and wives of general overseers or founders of ministry. The theme is Women Changing History. This will be taking place from on the 1st of May to the 3rd of May 2015 at the Apollo Hotel and Conference Center, 158 Bramfisher Drive, Frendel Randburg, Johannesburg, South Africa. And ministering will be Pastor Mrs. Folu Adeboye and other anointed ministers of God. For more information, please call us on +27 +83 512 6147 +27 72 646 5910 +27 78 436 1935 or +27 11 791 4141. Or you can send us an email on feastofesther.sa@gmail.com. Registration will be on till the 20th of April 2015. It's going to be an awesome time as we come together once again to develop excellent ministry skills in women who are called to impact the Church of God for the promotion of heaven consciousness and nation building. And this is our mission. Come, let's interact and accomplish heavenly goals. God bless you.
Welcome back to RTM News. Let's have a look at the Nigerian stories. In Nigerian news, deadly dawn raid on village in Nigeria's Benue state. Women and children are among dozens of people killed in a dawn raid on a village in central Nigeria. Police say 45 people died in the attack by unidentified gunmen on Egba village in Benue state. But local politician Aubu Sule told the BBC 81 villagers had been killed by the attackers, who were all armed with Kalashnikov rifles. Clashes between herdsmen from the Fulani ethnic group and farmers over grazing rights have plagued the region. I quote, "They opened fire on the sleepy village, killing residents, including women and children," Mr. Sule said. Police are hunting the attackers, but no arrests have been made yet. State's police spokesperson Austin Iziani told the AFP news agency. "This area has been volatile for some time," he said. Benue has a history of violent attacks and reprisals between semi-nomadic herdsmen and farmers, sometimes in revenge for cattle raiding. Last year, at least 100 villagers were killed in central Kanura state in an attack linked to a dispute between local farmers and herdsmen. Lekki bank robbery, we know the robbers, says police. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kayode Aderanti, this weekend said that the command had clue of who the robbers that stormed a second-generation bank last Thursday, killing 3 policemen and a teenager, were, assuring that it would soon round them up. This is just as the Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, has given matching orders to the police in Lagos to re-strategize in order to ensure that armed robbers do not unleash terror again in the state. Investigation, as gathered, had begun by joint crack detectives from the Special Anti-Robbery Squad and those from the newly instituted Tactical Operation Unit. The operatives, as gathered, would also spread their dragnet to neighboring Benin Republic, where the fleeing armed men were suspected to have taken refuge. Impeccable police sources hinted that part of the ongoing investigation included the monitoring of the video footage of the robbery operation recorded by an onlooker. Aderanti, who was at the scene of the robbery incident, described the death of his men as unfortunate, adding that they were not even attached to the bank where the gunmen stormed, but acted gallantly to prevent the hoodlums from carrying out their devilish act. That's it for the African News tonight. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Victorious Life Transforming Center presents her international conference, themed Manifesting Your Sonship and Ordination, featuring healing, deliverance, breakthrough, and salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ. The date is Friday 20th to Sunday 22nd March 2015. The time is Friday and Saturday is 5:30 p.m. Sunday service is 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Ministering Dr. Femi Odubonojo from London. Host Ben and Christabel Igwe. The venue is 69 Burger Street, corner Van Breda Street, Krugersdorp, CBD, South Africa. For more info, please call us on +27 73 116 2870, +27 73 416 9548, or on Facebook, facebook.com/victoriousltc, or visit our website www.victoriouslife.org.za. Admission is free. The Spirit of God is going to manifest and transform your life for good as you take a step of faith. Come and be blessed.
Welcome back to RTM News. Let's have a look at the international stories tonight. In international news, the first story, 50 die after bus plunges off-road in southern Brazil. Brazilian authorities yesterday put the death toll at 50 after a bus carrying worshippers to a religious event plummeted into a ravine on Saturday. The bus veered out of a curve and plunged more than 1,100 feet in the rural area of Serra Dona Francisca, the Joinville Secretary of Regional Development said. About a dozen people were injured, all but 4 of the bodies of the deceased have been recovered. Rescuers responded to the accident with 15 ambulances and a helicopter, CNN affiliate TV Record reported. 4 children are among the injured, the broadcaster reported. The annual rate of road accident deaths in Brazil is roughly double that of the United States, according to the World Health Organization. An estimated 43,869 people died there in traffic accidents in 2010. In the next story, Myanmar warplane kills 4 in China. A Myanmar warplane fighting rebels dropped a bomb at a sugarcane field in China, killing 4 civilians, the latter's state media reported Saturday. In addition to the fatalities, 9 others were wounded, according to Xinhua news agency. Shortly after the incident Friday, China sent fighter jets to patrol over their shared border. The jets are there to track, monitor, warn and chase away Myanmar military planes, China's Air Force told state media. China summoned Myanmar's ambassador in Beijing after the incident in the border city of Lingang. Liu Zhenmin, the vice foreign minister for China, called on Myanmar to investigate and bring those behind the attack to justice. Their forces have been battling ethnic separatist rebels in the rugged border region across from Yunnan province. In recent incidents, stray gunfire has damaged property on the Chinese side of the border, prompting Beijing to warn Myanmar to ensure safety. There was no immediate reaction from Myanmar. In the next story, British teens face terror charges after being detained en route to Syria. 3 teenagers from northwest London were released on bail yesterday after their alleged plans to travel to Syria led to their arrest. 2 17-year-old boys and a 19-year-old man were arrested on suspicion of preparation of terrorist acts, the Metropolitan Police said. The investigation started on Friday after police learned that 2 17-year-olds were missing and were believed to be traveling to Syria. They were traveling with a 19-year-old, police said. British authorities shared intelligence regarding the 17-year-olds with Turkish officials on Friday, and that night the individuals landed in Istanbul on a flight from Barcelona, Spain, a Turkish official told CNN. The teens were stopped along with another person who had been regarded as suspicious by Turkish intelligence working at the airport's Risk Analysis Center, which monitors risky flights and runs checks on suspicious passengers trying to enter Turkey. Turkish authorities questioned the teens, the Turkish official said, and the Metropolitan Police said the 3 arrived back in London shortly before midnight Saturday and were arrested. I quote, "When we have intelligence shared with us, there is no problem. We stop them and directly deport them. And of course, Turkish intelligence is always on the lookout as well," the Turkish official said. In the final story, protesters in Brazil criticized corruption. Demonstrators took to the streets across Brazil yesterday protesting corruption and demanding the impeachment of President Dilma Rousseff. Her administration is struggling amid a weak economy and a massive corruption scandal involving the country's state-run oil company. I quote, "I love Brazil, I love my country, and I'm tired of corruption. We are tired of corruption. It doesn't matter which political party you are from, we are tired of being robbed," a protester told CNN in Sao Paulo, where people packed the main Paulista Avenue. In Rio de Janeiro, they gathered along Copacabana Beach, while in the capital, Brasilia, protesters marched on government headquarters. The mood was festive. Many demonstrators wore the country's colors green, blue and yellow, waved flags and chanted "Out Dilma." Before becoming the country's first female president in 2011, Rousseff from the Workers' Party was chief of staff to former President Lula da Silva. She won re-election in October in one of the tightest races in recent years, but has since seen her approval rate plummet along with the economy. That's it for the news tonight. Stay with us and I'll be back with the sports.
The Redeemed Christian Church of God Southern Africa Region 2 invites you to her monthly divine encounter, themed This Same Jesus. Time is 7 p.m. The date is Friday the 27th March 2015, and ministering will be Pastor E.O. Daramola and other anointed men of God. Venue is 4 Commercial Avenue, Streeton Park, Randburg, Johannesburg, South Africa. For more inquiries and prayer requests, please call us on +27 11 791 4141. Don't miss this special time with God. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. God bless you and see you. Star of the morning.
Welcome back to RTM News. Let's have a look at the top sports stories tonight. In the bulletin tonight, in football news, Champions League, Sétif held to a draw at SA Club Struggle. And in international football news, the race for the English Premier League title heats up as Arsenal and Manchester United win and Chelsea and Manchester City win. And in Formula One news, Lewis Hamilton wins with ease in Australia as only 11 cars finish. Starting with football news, the defending champions Algerians Inter Sétif put aside the suspension of goalkeeper Sofiane Kediaria to force a 1-1 with the first leg of the African Champions League last 32 tie. South African clubs Mamelodi Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs both struggled at home in their first leg contests. Sundowns left it late to win 1-0 against Democratic Republic of Congo outfit TP Mazembe in Pretoria. Chiefs, on the other hand, have been struggling to score in the National League, and they wasted several good chances after Moroccans Raja Casablanca struck early for a 1-0 victory in Durban. And now in international football news, the English Premier League battle for the title is heating up as Chelsea cut their lead at the top to just 6 points after drawing 1-1 with Southampton. Manchester City surprisingly lost to Burnley, Arsenal hammered West Ham 3-0, and Manchester United's Wayne Rooney and his teammates knocked out Tottenham Hotspur with a 3-0 victory. The league is now very tight with Chelsea on 64 points, Manchester City on 58 points, Arsenal on 57 points, Manchester United on 56 points, and Liverpool and Southampton on 51 and 50 points respectively. And in Formula One news, Lewis Hamilton dominated the Australian Grand Prix to get his world title defense off to the perfect start. He drove a measured race, controlling the gap to his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg throughout as the team left the rest of the field behind. Lewis Hamilton's win now means that Mercedes now have won a total of 30 Grand Prix. That's the sports update for tonight. Stay with us as we're crossing over to the weather. That's all the news we have for you tonight from RTM and from me, Vicky Lee White. Enjoy the rest of your evening and we'll see you again tomorrow.